What's up, everybody? It is currently Thursday, November 6th, 10:41 a.m. I apologize, I haven't been posting for about a couple weeks. I've just been swamped with school and work. Um, I didn't really think I like work as much as I do. It's a good challenge, and I get to practice my communication skills. Get to practice my focus when my computer skills a little bit. It's a good job for me at the moment. Unfortunately, the course that I'm working in, the pro shop, is closing down in April, which, I feel bad for people who have been working there for a while because they have been able to find new work. They'll be in the unemployment sector of the country. But for myself, it actually works out well because I've been planning on moving back northwards for college. Some of the college I'm looking at is Rollins College, which is in Florida, College of Charleston, which is in South Carolina, Duke University, which is in North Carolina, High Point University, which is in North Carolina, University of Richmond, which is in Virginia, James Madison, which is in Virginia, Lehigh, which is in Pennsylvania near Philadelphia, Lafayette, which is in Pennsylvania near Philadelphia, Arcadia near Philadelphia, University of Penn, University of Rochester, Hamilton, Allegheny College, Bethany College. Um, So we're gonna try to make a road trip sometime over the next month, but definitely over the next month. Try to get there, but try to get to as many colleges as possible. Try to meet some golf coaches because I'm trying to go back and play college golf. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't really played too much golf over the past, two months that I've been working, just because I've been balancing school as well as full time, 30, 35 hour weeks. Um, so for next semester, I'm not gonna take another class at Miami-Dade because I want to focus on making these videos, working out, and work, and as well as golf. So four things: making these videos for therapy purposes for myself as well as for you guys, so we can both learn at the same time. It can be a win-win situation. That's what I do: find win-win situations. So YouTube, work, working out, and golf. Four things. The magic number four. Actually, the magic number is three, but four is close enough to three. Six, seven. Anyway, things have been good. Um, my philosophy class, I dropped it. I wasn't really too fond of the professor. I think my two lowest grades in pretty much my entire career in school have been in classes that have been 3 hour long lectures. Professors who are a little bit older in age. Um, and kind of stuck in their ways. And I just don't really understand some of the writing classes. I'm big on, like, I truly believe that, it's my personal belief, and you guys could have a different opinion, that, writing classes are important, but the grading that goes into the writing classes is very subjective, um, which is kind of frustrating. There's in mathematics, which is kind of how my mind thinks, economics, mathematics, computer science, you're kind of either right or you're wrong. Binomial, you're either right or you're wrong. Statistics, calculus, basically all of math, is pretty objective. Proofs in linear algebra and higher math, maybe a little bit subjective, but for the most part, math is an objective thing. On math tests, you're either going to be wrong or you're right. Whereas in like a class, an essay in, say philosophy in this case, it was very subjective. I actually did well on the philosophy essay, really bad. I got like a 66%. Um, double. I'm just joking. I got a 66% on my um, philosophy test, which was the lowest grade. I studied for like probably anywhere from 5 to 10 hours, and I still got a 66, which was frustrating. So I dropped it. But I'm not sure if I said this in this video or not, but I actually learned a decent amount in that philosophy class. I wish I could take that class without being pressured to grade, just see what I absorb, because I really do like philosophy, and I think, sometimes I don't have as much motivation to learn something when it's not in school, um, which is somewhat contradictory because most of the stuff, you know, I'm most motivated to pay attention whenever we get graded, but I don't want to get graded for this particular class. So I don't know if you're following what I'm saying, but anyway, let's go back to something that I learned in the philosophy class, which was in Stoicism, which I really like. One of the one of the main sayings of Stoicism, which I had learned back whenever I was in Pittsburgh, um, was the saying called memento mori, which means to remember death, which I think is, some people might be like, why would you say that? Like, it's a little bit pessimistic, but in reality, at least from my interpretation, my perspective, is that a memento mori basically unites us all because we're all going to pass away. It should humble you as well as offer you, you know, remind you that remember death. There might be, might be urging you to think about, okay, what is death? Is there an afterlife? Start asking these questions, these larger existential questions. Um, that kind of trump, in my opinion, not really trump, but they're just a little bit different than, what a lot of us are thinking in terms of like, how are we going to make this how are we going to make this month's rent? What are we going to eat for dinner? What are we going to do on the weekend, et cetera, et cetera. I think, thinking about these larger ideas are really important. Having these conversations about these larger ideas are really important. Having these conversations about trying to learn more about yourself were really important. For the last 5 years, I've been out of traditional school, been touring around the country, and learning about myself, patiently learning about myself. And I think after all these years, you gotta, as the college that I went to, the motto of the college, Hamilton College, was know thyself. I think if you know thyself, you break free of the chains. You break free from a lot of the chains that has bound you or does bind you, because you're aware of yourself. If you're aware of yourself, you're basically set free because you understand how you tick, and you can have more control over your life once you understand yourself. So I strongly suggest anyone, whether it's by reading the Bible and learning more about the different people, the different apostles who wrote the Bible. I think, one of the reasons why the Bible is so critical is because Jesus was this really cool dude that talked about love and acceptance and all of these, really good things. And then people wrote about Jesus' apostles, wrote about Jesus and how impactful he was, and still is to this day. And Jesus represents unconditional love and unconditional forgiveness, which is just beautiful. Um, we need so much more of that in this world. At the same time, if you have the right perspective or the right, yeah, if you have the right perspective, for lack of better words, you're going to start seeing love and you're going to start seeing all these good things that happen in life, and good things are going to start happening to you. But going back to what I was saying, the apostles, they each have their own personality. So with the Enneagram, for example, if you don't want to take the test, just read the 9 different numbers and kind of what that corresponds to in terms of the personality. Usually, you'll be able to figure out what type you are just by reading it. It's kind of the same thing with the apostles. It's like you read, you know, excuse me, all the different apostles and how they write, um, and you can reflect back to yourself, be like, okay, I'm more like this Mark, or I'm more like Luke, for example, and really focus on them so you can learn more about them, which would be learning more about yourself. Because I believe there's patterns in life and we don't entirely have free will. For example, for myself, I'm a 9 on the Enneagram, which means that my basic desires are, harmony and love, um, which I think trumps some of I'm not trying to say that like 9 is better than anybody else, because I truly believe that we should all work together. All of our desires and abilities can merge together to create this utopic world that many think is possibly, improbable. But yeah, um, and then from the philosophy class, going back a step, one of the sayings that one of the Stoic sayings, in addition to memento mori, was whatever happens, try to I'm paraphrasing it. It's kind of like whatever happens, learn to like it, learn to be adaptable, learn to roll with the punches, learn to be like a, you know, um, obviously be bold and assert yourself and do what you want to do, make yourself happy, make yourself usually if 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 you're experiencing, because happiness is an emotion. It's not a it's not like a contentment and happiness are different. Contentment I feel like is more deeper rooted in your being. Happiness is more um it's more temporary. It's not as it's not as lasting as contentment. Um but happiness, the happier someone, I mean, how do I phrase this? The more genuinely happy somebody is, they're most likely going to be more of a kind person. And you don't have to be a kind person in this world to, achieve success of the world. But in the long run, I just saw a video of this one dude. I'm not sure what his name was, but you might be able to figure out who he is based on my description of him. But he goes up to millionaires and asks them a bunch of questions about how he made money, yada yada yada. Um, and the one millionaire basically said like his happiness was very distantly related to how much money he had made over the course of his life because he found God. And I think just even if God is a man, woman, non-binary, doesn't exist, the idea of God, the idea of a power greater than yourself that is looking down on you, that is guiding you, that is feeding you thoughts that you have the opportunity then to share or not share, that is important. And I think that's, objective at this point in time, that there is a God, that there is a universe that is love and that is looking after us. And for myself, I want to keep reminding you guys of that. I want to keep reminding myself of that whenever I get down and get willful, I think is the word. Whenever I say, oh, nothing matters, I'm not going to achieve anything, I'm just going to die and everyone's going to forget about me, it doesn't matter. No, you got to leave a legacy of love, leave a legacy of understanding. Try to make this world a better place. Try to make this world utopic. And if not, the whole world, try to make your inner world, your little clique, more harmonious and loving and connected. People will see that and they'll want the same thing. But um that was a lot for today. Um try to be adaptable, try to be more loving. Really just, I think in a lot of cases, eventually whenever we do what we want to do, we end up being experiencing more happiness and contentment. We we begin experiencing the emotion of happiness and the state of being called contentment. But the answers are out there. It's just a matter of if you know, I've been on this search for wisdom for years. For 5 years, I've been reading books and reflecting on myself and experiencing independent thoughts from books or teachers or mentors. Because you can have, these physical bodies of people, physical beings that are connected with a soul or a mind, and they can be your mentors. But the ultimate mentor is something that you can't necessarily see. It's called God. It's called the universe. And as much as the physical body mentors, your physical people are guiding you, or are guiding you, it's gonna the amount that you're. Let me try to rephrase that. The amount that physical people impact your life is so much lower it's still impactful and it's still really important to be a good person and try to help someone that's struggling. But ultimately, the person or the being or the entity that will really help us is something that we can't see, and we call that person, place, or thing God or the universe. But that's pretty much all I got for today, guys. It's 10:56. That was a longer video, November 6th, Thursday. Um, yeah, so I'll be in touch hopefully tomorrow. Try to post this thing today. Much love. Thank you for Zoom for allowing me to record. Thank you guys for watching. If you've made it this far, and comment things you want me to talk about. Deep concepts, deep concepts, off the tip of the iceberg. Stimulating, philosophical, religious, whatever. Personal insight. I love it all. I love it all. Have a good one, guys, and we'll be seeing you soon. Hopefully, God willing.